I'm about to lose my brain stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Teairra and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make sense.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and
All right. Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your morning wake-up call. So let me go ahead and change this banner real quick. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, don't forget to get those likes up. And if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Exit stage left. Don't let the virtual door hit you on the way out. All right. Hello, Teairra. All Hell Nah is in the house. All right. Edward is here. Queen Sam, Pennywise. G from the land. RG Titan. Pearly. All right. That Crazy Beach Aries. 504 Nola. Khalid is in the house. Queen Mona Huey. Chili Willie from Philly. Where have you been? Miss Evie. Terry Hartfield. All right. Claudette is in the house. Dragon Lily. Hundia is in the house. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Dirk is in here. All right. Dawanda, Desmond, Darnell. Okay, Queen Sam, I see you, beloved. All hell no, did I say you? All right, so let's get into it. Everyone, please get those likes up. Thank you in advance. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything to like, folks. All right. Hey, Buckhorse DC said, who taught you to hate? Okay, Queen Amoni Huey's up in the house. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Shout out to everyone in the chat. MDC Forever Enlightened One. All right, says looking beautiful, Queen. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's get into it. Everyone get the likes up. Pennywise, did I say you, beloved? Shout out to all my loyal royals in the chat. Y'all know I love me some royals. I see you, Nessa G. I see you, Cherokee Descendadale. Melanin A1 is in the house. All right. Ray Williams, Nefarious Self, Above All the Drama. Softening Love is here. Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to everyone in the chat, everyone tuned into the Queen. Likes up, people. Likes up. Y'all know how they do the Queen. So nefarious. Okay, so first things first. We're going to talk about some of the nefarious things that's going on with Jay-Z, allegedly. Jay-Z and Beyonce. Patrick said, purple looks awesome on you. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so now with that all being said, I don't know if you all know this, but at the end of the day, that Crazy Beach Air said, happy solar return, Pisces, as the zodiac turns. I know that's right. My birthday's coming up, people. February the 27th, okay? February the 27th is the Queen's birthday. You all pay attention because we're going to have a good time and we're going to have an after party on my Patreon. So please pay attention. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, let's get into this news. Now, I have a bunch of receipts. That's why I started earlier today than usual. Hey, Gemini. With that all being said, let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that, you know, people have been whispering that Jay-Z actually funded Surviving R. Kelly, which I find very interesting because Jay-Z and R. Kelly, in my opinion, are one and the same. I mean, R. Kelly was charged with trafficking, and Jay-Z allegedly has ties to trafficking. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a second, because if those of you who don't know, about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't report on this because I had other things going on, but about 2 weeks ago, if you remember the rapper M.I.A., well, she made some accusations against Jay-Z, exposing some things. Now, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first of all, let's talk about this whole Surviving R. Kelly thing. Now, I did a TikTok this morning right before I started my live. So let's get into it. And then I'm going to pull up the rest of the receipts. Please pay attention. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Some people believe that Jay-Z funded the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, and they have a good reason for thinking so. So let's get into it. Now, R. Kelly says that during the Best of Both Worlds tour, Jay-Z became very envious of him because he was the higher paid performer. And this animosity, he claims, led to Jay-Z deliberately causing lighting issues and technical issues or getting people to do so. Also, he says there were threats against him and says that there were even threats to have the promoters kick him off of the tour. He says one night someone in the audience pointed a weapon at him and he had to flee the stage. When he was given the all clear by the security guards and tried to return to the stage, well, Jay-Z's friend, Teairra Smith, actually maced him. Please pay attention. This man pictured with Jay-Z is the man who supposedly sprayed R. Kelly with the mace. Now, he was treated at the hospital and then released. But after that whole incident, which occurred at the Madison Square Garden, well, the promoters, Atlanta Worldwide Touring, they fired R. Kelly. Now, this was in the middle of a 40-city tour that had been plagued with cancellations. R. Kelly then went on to file a $75 million breach of contract lawsuit against Jay-Z, and Jay-Z countersued. Now, his countersuit was dismissed. Afterwards, Jay-Z had to settle with R. Kelly for an undisclosed amount of cash. And I'm sure this would tick anyone off, especially someone with an ego as big as Jay-Z's. Please pay attention. During the incident at Madison Square Garden, when R. Kelly wasn't allowed to return to the stage, Jay-Z went out and hyped up the crowd and told them, "One monkey don't stop no show."
I really tried to hold this thing together. I really tried. I was really patient. I was really freaking patient. I'm telling you. Trust me. You know how it go. One monkey don't stop a show, I tell you.
After that incident, both men would rush to Angie Martinez's show to give their sides of the story, which were very different. And the woman in the picture here is Dream Hampton. She's the one who is the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly. Please pay attention.
He put his money behind a project that cost this man his life in prison. Well, could, because I got faith that R. Kelly gonna get out now.
I surely don't think it's coincidence that the woman who executive produced Surviving R. Kelly is such good friends with Jay-Z. Please pay attention. Okay, so clearly nefarious. I want you all to pay attention. Now, the fact that Jay-Z, he tried to countersue R. Kelly. He did countersue, and his lawsuit was dismissed. But R. Kelly, he had to settle with R. Kelly for an undisclosed amount of money. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I couldn't give you all of the salacious details in that little 2.5-minute video. So here we go. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, here's what they say. R. Kelly, now this happened in 2004 during the Best of Both Worlds tour. Okay, R. Kelly filed $75 million lawsuit against Jay-Z. R. Kelly has filed a lawsuit against Jay-Z for breach of contract, accusing him and his associates of threats and violence that turned their joint tour into a nightmare. Now, R&B singer R. Kelly on November the 1st filed a $75 million breach of contract suit against rapper Jay-Z, accusing him of threats and violence. The suit was brought in state Supreme Court in Manhattan following a tumultuous performance on Friday at Madison Square Garden. Now, during which R. Kelly abruptly left the stage after telling the audience he saw two men in the crowd brandishing guns. Kelly said that a short time later, a member of Jay-Z's entourage blasted him and 3 of his bodyguards in the face with pepper spray backstage. Meanwhile, a security sweep of the concert hall failed to find any weapons, and the sold-out show resumed without problems as Jay-Z performed with guest stars Usher and Mary J. Blige. Now, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, issued a statement through the record label saying that it was Kelly who created a dangerous situation by claiming to have seen guns being waved in the audience. The statement said that it was the equivalent of screaming fire in a crowded theater. Now, the promoter of the 40 City Plus Best of Both Worlds tour, which began September the 29th, canceled the remainder of the tour on Saturday after Jay-Z said he was unwilling to perform with Kelly again. On Saturday, Jay-Z returned to the Garden to perform without Kelly, and he continued to perform on his own. Now, in the lawsuit, Kelly said that night's incident marked the latest example of how Jay-Z and his associates turned what had been an historic and highly anticipated tour into a nightmare that was motivated by spite and jealousy. He said that the rapper and his supporters engaged in conduct intentionally designed to exclude R. Kelly from the tour, including threats and acts of violence. The suit seeks $15 million in compensatory damages and at least $60 million in punitive damages. So that's what happened. R. Kelly filed that lawsuit, and here's the thing. Now, I don't know how much money he actually got from Jay-Z, but he got some money, supposedly because it was settled for an undisclosed amount. And obviously the judge believed what R. Kelly was alleging and not what Jay-Z was saying in his counterclaim, because that was thrown out. So please pay attention. And, you know, it seems to me that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a bunch of haters, or just a pair of haters. I mean, that's the allegations. Please pay attention. Queen Sam said, Kelly, please be able to read that contract. Well, you know, he has attorneys for that, beloved. He has attorneys for that. And even if you can read, anytime you're signing an entertainment contract, you should always have an attorney look over it. Okay? So with that all being said, Queen, that color you're wearing is so gorgeous. Love your outfits. Thank you. Thank you, beloved. Now, this headpiece actually came from one of my subscribers. They sent me a bunch of them in different colors, and I love them. Okay, so with that all being said, this is all so crazy, but let's continue, because we know that there has been many rumors about different people, you know, being blackballed due to Jay-Z and Beyonce. In some cases, allegedly, people have said that Beyonce hates on these women, and so that's why, you know, they were blackballed. Now, I'm not substantiating any of this. I'm just telling you what the words on the streets are. Okay, so let's get into it. And first off, let's start with Blu Cantrell. Now, Blu Cantrell was friends with Jay-Z and working with Jay-Z and all of that. And the rumor was at the time that she was messing around with Jay-Z. Okay, and this is right around the time that he and Beyonce started talking, sometime shortly thereafter. All right, and so with that all being said, the word on the street was back then that Beyonce didn't like it and told Jay-Z to sever ties. Now, I can't substantiate that again, but let's get into it, because I'm going to play for you what Blu herself had to say about it.
The same person that robbed me for like $500 for a session ended up being in the studio while I was there with the president of the label.
Rumors Rumors that Jay-Z helped Beyonce remove her competition are nothing new. From the late Aaliyah to M.I.A and Keri Hilson, there are multiple female artists whose careers were allegedly sabotaged so Beyonce could step up. However, when it comes to Blu Cantrell, things were personal because she developed a close relationship with Jay-Z right around the time Jay started dating Beyonce. And then the whole thing took a dark turn when Blu was found wandering the streets of Santa Monica and claiming that someone poisoned her with gas.
Blu Cantrell. You were singing, fool. And you made a choice to work with someone, and you probably didn't realize how nefarious he was when you got involved with him. I didn't.
But were Beyonce and Jay-Z really involved in this incident? Did they try to eliminate Blu Cantrell because Beyonce was jealous of her? Let's break it down.
There's a lot of tension because you're around each other so much and you're fighting and you're nitpicking, and definitely can relate to that.
There's been a lot of speculation over the years about Jay-Z and Beyonce eliminating their competition on their way to the top. And the list of artists whose careers they allegedly sabotaged is really, really long. But one name that often gets overlooked on this list is Blu Cantrell, Jay-Z's rumored ex-girlfriend. Blu started her career in the late 90s as a background vocalist for high-profile artists such as Diddy before L.A. Reid offered her a contract after hearing her sing one of her original songs. In July 2001, Blu released her debut album, So Blue, and the record was a critical and commercial success. Later insisted that there was nothing going on between her and Jay. However, when Wendy Williams asked her if she ever took her friendship with Jay to the next level, Blu just laughed nervously and said she can't answer that question.
Have you ever kissed Jay-Z romantically?
No. No, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Oh, she's touching him off the neck. Look! You see?
Why do people not want to let the Jay-Z Blu Cantrell thing go?
Wendy then suggested that Jay most likely decided to focus on Beyonce instead of Blu because Blu wasn't young enough for him, and he needed someone more naive that he could manipulate more easily.
I said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're about 25.
Why, he needs somebody younger than that?
At the end of the day, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because I think at the end of the day, a younger, less savvy to the ways of the world broad.
Somebody a little bit more naive.
You said it, not me.
Beyonce's debut album called Signs features the lyrics, "I was in love with a Sagittarius. I wish he was a Virgo, the same sign as me, and know how to show me love because I've been hurt by a Pisces." Obviously, Jay-Z is a Sagittarius, but guess who's a Pisces? That's right, Blu Cantrell. And when Blu was asked about all these coincidences in her 2003 interview with The Guardian, she said, "I'm an adult. She's younger, and if she's doing what you're saying, then she's being a little immature." But Blu didn't stop there, and she also warned Beyonce not to mess with her. Maybe she's trying to do it to get press, but I want to make her understand if she goes there with me, it's the wrong move, Blu said. She needs to understand what she's doing and what she's getting.
I can't help but notice all of your jewelry.
Oh, God.
And most definitely, yes, the canary rock with the two on the sides, the trillion cup. Blu, you've had one CD out. More famous than wealthy? More famous than wealthy?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Who gave you that rock?
It was a gift. I can't really say for who.
Come on, P.I.M.P.
I know you're going to touch that. I know you're going to touch that little situation. No, a friend.
A famous friend?
I tell you. Yes.
Did you fuck Jay-Z?
Oh my God.
I heard he's hung like a horse, Blu. You didn't know Beyonce? Did she really have him locked down?
I think so. I think they're in love.
I like music by both. I'm a fan of neither, but I am a fan of telling the truth. And I actually heard Beyonce say that she picked out Blue Ivy's name. Blue was from the color at the end of the spectrum, and ivy was from a tree that she had walked past. She thought it was an ivy tree, and it was around the time that she actually had gotten pregnant with Blue Ivy. She just didn't know it at the time.
Okay, so I saw someone in the chat saying, is that why her daughter's name is Blu? Well, that's what some people say, but on the end, the person gave the explanation according to Beyonce. But people did say, some people do believe that Jay-Z named her Blu after Blu Cantrell. Who knows? I find it nefarious. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about the rapper Amil. Does anybody remember her? Who remembers the rapper Amil? Because I love her voice. It was raspy. It was very raspy. Latasha said, Queen looking beautiful. Thank you, beloved. Anyone remember who she is? Claudette says you do. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to play a video of her and Jay-Z where they did a song together, but I muted the volume. Can't get in trouble with ScrewTube. Okay, but they say that he had to get rid of her after they had started getting real close. All right, and at the end of the day, they say Beyonce was jealous. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they say. People in the industry said Beyonce was jealous and she had Jay-Z to just cut the girl off.
Yeah, what up?
You know his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look. Usually with your music that go with his name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know I got you.
Quiet though. Yeah.
Later.
What's that all about?
Gorgeous. Don't worry about it.
Hold up, y'all.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention now. That's the young lady that rapped on the song with Jay-Z. I don't remember the name of it, but the song Can I Get a What? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That's her. That's her. She had a very nice voice for rap because her voice was husky. It was like raspy, shall I say. She had a raspy voice. All right. Vince M said she looks like Aaliyah on the Try Again video, or is it just me? I don't really see it, beloved. Okay, now who's next on the list of nefariousness? Let's talk about Keri Hilson. Now, those of you, I specifically remember the Keri Hilson beef, honey, because Keri Hilson's from Atlanta. Shout out to Keri. And she is a songwriter more so than she was a singer. And she wrote some of Beyonce's songs. And do you all remember when Keri and Beyonce had the so-called feud because of the song that Keri came out with? And people were implying, specifically the Beehive, they were bullying Keri all over the internet because they were saying that she was coming for Beyonce in the song. All right, and so let's get into it. Of course, I'm not going to play the song due to copyright issues.
Announce it.
This is
This is
Oh,
Keri.
okay. This is Keri Hilson.
Mm-hmm.
You're turning me on.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it out.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no boys allowed. You better come in here as a motherfucking grown-ass man.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty girl rockin' round.
Pretty girl
What?
rockin'
Around here.
Because my name is...
Yes.
Yeah. Keri Hilson. I ain't saying no names.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, the deep side.
And took a sip of water, too.
All right. When you're a performer,
Yes.
we know how important it is to give love to other performers,
Yes.
right? Especially when you happen to be sitting on the front row at their show.
Okay.
Okay.
I like where it's
Yes.
going.
Mind you, no one else was performing. Was anybody else performing that night? Do you know what night I'm even referring to yet? Okay, it's fine. All right, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
New for him, too.
All right.
All right.
Yes. He was there. Okay, so I remember just this I don't want to be here energy. I don't know why I'm here. She was with a gentleman. She was his guest. I know the guy very well. She was with him. So she was his, and she didn't want to be there. It was very obvious. And I felt disrespected by that. So when they came to my dressing room backstage, I said something and we almost got to scrapping.
Shit.
My Decatur came out. Her town came out. And it could have got real ugly.
I don't appreciate you being on the front row
Yeah.
of my show and
Yeah.
not giving me no energy.
I don't remember exactly how I said it, but it was worse than that. It was.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, but it was that. It was that. It was like,
We fellow artists.
you already know what it's like. You could give a courtesy bob. There's a lot of things you can do.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can do to show love, but she was this.
Damn. In the front row?
She was that.
That's nasty business.
Looking at the
That's
shoot,
that's
looking at
nasty
it.
business.
It was nasty business, and I just felt so. And on her phone, while everybody else is standing up around her, I was just like, "Oh, this is intentionally rude. Like you want to get slapped." That's how I felt. You're calling me. You're speaking to a certain spirit.
Yeah.
You dialed it up.
I got
it on me now.
I got it on me.
Okay.
To a certain spirit.
Like I said, I've always been secular.
Yeah, I've been secular.
Do they have those rocks?
Yeah, she dialed it up on the.
They got those rocks that you call.
She dialed it up. That's why I got the gems now. Keep it all.
I want to roll them like dice.
Calm. Keep it all.
Bring my black crystal in here.
Shit, I'm about to get
that
weird.
black crystal.
That's why I got them. That's exactly why I be having, because it's on me. Now, I don't like to go there, but it
almost went there.
Yeah, like people had to be ushered away. People had to be. It was that. Because I had to say something. I had to say something.
Get it off your chest.
I had to figure out what the fuck. It was.
It was burning.
Because I felt disrespect the whole show. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, dog. You don't do that unless you are purposely. I guess so. Now you know what I'm talking about and who.
I remember the moment.
You don't remember who it was. Yeah, she's pretty insignificant at this point.
And well,
yeah.
Keri.
But I ain't saying no name.
You ain't saying no name.
You didn't say her name.
You ain't say no name.
I didn't say no name.
We appreciate you.
I have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. You learn to fight harder. I didn't have enough fight in me I was maybe 20, 21. No one could ever compare to Beyonce. Let's just say the name that we're discussing. No one could compare. No one will for a very, very, very long time. And that was never my aim either. Absolutely framed that way. It was written that way. Was not my lyrics, was not my writing.
So you had to pay the penalty.
Was not my doing, but I had to pay the penalty. And then I'm caught, like, do I tell the truth? Do I expose them early in my career? I'm super young, super new. This is my first album. I'm so excited. It just soiled my whole dream.
If you could do it all over again, would you do it differently or do it the same?
Oh, I would absolutely do it differently. I don't know if, I guess I would just see what the other side would be if I just fought harder and said no and let them carry out their threat if they were really going to do that. It really felt that way from the top.
Okay, so now in that first clip, people allege that she was talking about Teairra Marie. That's why she said at this point she's no longer significant. But in the second clip, yes, she was talking about Beyonce. And she says that, people gave her that song. It was the Turning Me On, the remix. Hold on. Let me see if I can read the lyrics here. Just a few of them. I'm not going to read this whole song, so y'all can miss me with it. Hold on. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, this is what some of the lyrics are for the song. I ain't trying to start some mess. There's just something on my chest that I need to get off because you're turning me off. Your vision cloudy if you think that you're the best. You can dance, she can sing, but she needs to move it to the left. She needs to go have some babies. She needs to sit down. She fake. Them other chicks ain't even worth my time to talk about. Ben had dollars, boy. Go on, get your money up. Okay, so they said she was talking about Beyonce because she specifically said left, left, and that's when Beyonce had that song to the left, to the left. And so they said she was talking about Beyonce, honey, and that's how all the mess started. Now, another thing is, some people were saying that Beyonce wanted her publishing and Keri wouldn't give it to her. They also, because you all heard what Tiffany Reed has alleged, that Beyonce takes people's publishing, all right, and gives herself credit for it and all of that. So, and then I'm going to show a clip later where someone accuses Jay-Z of doing the same thing to them. Now, I told you all over a month ago that Jay-Z and Diddy are very similar in my opinion, as well as R. Kelly. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, moving right along, now we're going to talk about M.I.A. You all remember M.I.A.? Anyone ever wonder what happened to her? Well, allegedly, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Yet again, be sure to pay attention that I'm saying alleged, okay? Please pay attention. Now, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
These things for sure, like from the tone in her voice. She probably had to walk away from a lot of opportunities because of the vile things that came with them, and fans quickly caught not the fact that she could have been referring to Jay-Z. I mean, things pretty much went left after Best of Me. According to one of the producers who worked on the song, Jay-Z felt disrespected by M.I.A. because he didn't think that she was grateful to him for hopping on her song. The producer said, "So Jay came to the studio that night at the Hit Factory. He got it right away. He understood what it was, but he didn't like M.I.A.'s vibe in the room. He looked at her like she was a spoiled brat because she was. Jay looked at her like, I'm about to rap on your record. You're about to have a hit, and I don't think you really appreciate it." The producer claimed that Jay-Z then stormed out of the studio, after which people in the studio said to M.I.A., "Yo, M.I.A., Jay wants to do the record, but he feels like you're not giving him any love, like no thank you or none of that." Jay eventually finished the song, but people were saying that he tried to make moves on her, and her refusing his attempts is what made him really mad. It's kind of like he expected her to be all over him because of his status at the time, and she wasn't doing that, which hurt his ego. To make matters worse, the producers continued to push this weird narrative that M.I.A. was ungrateful and stuck up. It eventually fizzled out until 2014 when rumors of Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce rocked the internet, and he had that altercation with Solange in the elevator. Beyonce released her Lemonade album that same year, and in one of the songs she referenced Becky with the good hair. The Beehive was desperate to find out who Beck with the good hair was, and this brought back the Jay-Z and M.I.A. situation. They were basically accusing her of having an affair with Jay, and no matter how much she tried to deny it, people kept dragging her. A fan on Instagram asked her, "Heard you and Jay-Z had an 11-year affair. Are you his side chick or nah?" And M.I.A. quickly fired back, "Never did, never was, never will." She also wrote, "I play second to no one, pay my own bills, have my own label, own management company, rely on God only, and respect myself in marriage too much for nonsense." In her recent interview with Vlad TV, she also said that the things she saw while working in the industry eventually made her create her own label so she could do her own thing on her own terms. I'm glad she is doing that for herself. Ever since her TV interview, M.I.A. has been getting a lot of love and support from fans. They've dropped comments saying, "I can tell from her demeanor in the interview, whatever went down behind the scenes has hurt her deeply." She looked like she wanted to cry at times. Always wondered what happened to M.I.A. She always had an elegance and grace about her. Respect her then, even more now. Proud of her, and I respect her for having boundaries, respect for herself and morals. M.I.A. was not about to sell her soul to sleep her way through the industry. And another interesting detail is that years later, Beyonce and Jay-Z enlisted Hype Williams to direct their video for Drunken Love, and they filmed it in a suburb of Miami, the same city where Aaliyah filmed her very last music video. Besides that, the opening scene of Drunken Love shows Beyonce carrying a trophy with a female figure on top, which some fans interpreted as Beyonce saying she eliminated all her competition. And then we also can't forget that there were a lot of rumors back in the late 90s that Jay preyed on Aaliyah just like his former friend R. Kelly. R. Kelly met Aaliyah when she was just 12 through her record-producing uncle, Barry Hankerson. Kelly then started grooming Aaliyah and ended up marrying her when she was 15 by using a fake ID. It was later revealed that R. Kelly bribed Aaliyah's family, and according to R. Kelly's former security, Jim Pratt, Aaliyah's family signed a contract with Kelly stating that they wouldn't press charges against him for the illegal marriage after it was annulled, and in turn, Kelly gave them the rights to his first 3 albums. So as you can see, Aaliyah was failed by all the adults in her life, which made her an easy target for predatory men in the music industry. So when it comes to Jay-Z's alleged relationship with Aaliyah, they were spotted together at industry events. However, Jay-Z never admitted he dated her. However, according to Dame Dash, Jay tried very hard to get with Aaliyah, but she wasn't interested, so he focused on Beyonce, who was also a teenager when she met him. What's even more messed up is that Jay-Z stayed friends with R. Kelly after he found out what he did to Aaliyah, and they recorded a joint album, Best of Both Worlds. So because of all these shady details, many fans, as well as some industry insiders, have publicly speculated that Aaliyah's death was a sacrifice. And now, on top of all of this, an interview with Mary J. Blige resurfaced where Mary referred to Aaliyah's death as a spiritual murder and said it wasn't supposed to go down like that.
I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that.
But that wasn't the only time Mary openly speculated about Aaliyah's death. In 2006, she appeared on The Oprah Show, and while Oprah has now deleted this interview from her YouTube channel, there's a written transcript available online, and here's what Mary told Oprah about Aaliyah's death. "My life was her life. She was surrounded by people who weren't telling her the real deal. We weren't close friends, but I talked with her a couple of times. I very well could have been the woman on that plane." However, for some reason, Mary J stopped talking about Aaliyah in public, and she never revealed what she meant when she called Aaliyah's death spiritual murder. But fans have some ideas of their own, and here's what they're saying. Mary looked absolutely terrified as she was speaking. Her body language said it all. "I firmly believe Aaliyah was sacrificed. Like Jag said, look at who benefited the most after her death. The music industry is so vile and evil. All I can say is I miss Aaliyah and Tupac, the only celebrities I cried over. You have to wonder why Jay-Z and his wife are so rich. Think about it. It has nothing to do with talent, because there are people more talented than both of them. But
now, are you all paying attention to all of these people who had ties to Jay-Z were blackballed, their careers ruined? You all paying attention? I'm sure you don't think this is a coincidence. Now, the next one on the list is Teairra Marie. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Rihanna might be one of the biggest stars of our generation, but what many people don't know is that she was never meant to be so famous. And the only reason she found success is that she pretty much came for the success of another singer, a girl named Teairra Marie. But why was Rihanna so desperate to be famous? Did Beyonce really help Rihanna to sabotage Teairra's career? And does Teairra really hold a grudge after all these years? Many people will recognize Teairra from her time on Love and Hip Hop New York and Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. But the truth is that she was supposed to have the career that Rihanna does today. Before Rihanna got signed to Def Jam Records, Teairra was the golden girl of the label, and the label execs were more than willing to pour money into her and build her career. At the time, Jay-Z was president of Def Jam, and he had so much faith in Teairra that he often referred to her as the princess of the label.
Talk about some of the artists. Teairra Marie.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's the first lady of the rock.
She's the princess.
Even when Rihanna joined the label in 2005, she didn't pose a serious threat to Teairra, even though she already had her song, Pon de Replay, lined up to be released later that year. The label execs, especially L.A. Reid, still had more faith in Teairra's potential to be a superstar and gave her more priority than Rihanna. The label put more money into Teairra, especially because she already had a hit song titled Make Her Feel Good. Even though more than 15 years have passed since these events, a lot of people still find it weird that the label was giving priority to one girl over the other when they had more than enough money, power, and influence to push both girls equally and at the same time. But that didn't happen, and Teairra continued to reign as the princess of the label. One of the occasions where it was clear that Teairra was the it girl of the label was at the 2005 World Music Awards, where she teamed up with Rihanna and another singer named A-Marie to perform their cover of the song Lose My Breath by Destiny's Child. Teairra took the lead part that was originally sung by Beyonce, and this clearly sent a message across that she was the favorite. Life was good for Teairra, and she was already on what looked like a solid path to achieving her dreams of being a superstar, even though she was only 17 at the time. But then things suddenly changed, and a series of crazy events took place that saw her go from being one of the most promising young stars to losing it all. It all started during a Def Jam showcase where she and Rihanna performed. She was still the label's favorite, but one statement changed the trajectory of her career and, by extension, her entire life. Beyonce was dating Jay-Z at the time, so she was present at the showcase. After the event ended, she went up to L.A. Reid and told him to pay a little bit more attention to Rihanna.
We had a showcase, and at the showcase there were two artists performing. Her name is Teairra Marie, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, that Rihanna girl, she's a beast. And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take.
L.A. Reid himself admitted that he hadn't really been seeing Rihanna in that light until then, but that one statement from Beyonce changed everything, and he began to realize Rihanna's star power. Over the years, people believe that Beyonce might have been influenced by the fact that Rihanna was Jay-Z's artist, and she made that statement to give Rihanna a boost because Beyonce was already a big name in the industry. For those who don't know, Jay-Z was the one who signed Rihanna to Def Jam because he was blown away by her on their first meeting. So people feel like the main reason Beyonce made that statement in the first place was to give Rihanna a boost. Well, Beyonce's plan clearly worked because L.A. Reid and the label in general started paying more attention to Rihanna than they had ever done before. Teairra was still their number one choice, but now they had a backup in Rihanna. But things got worse for Teairra when the label started putting pressure on her to act a certain way that she was not comfortable with. They wanted the good girl gone bad vibe from her, but she was not comfortable with that, especially because she was only a teenager at the time and hadn't even graduated high school yet. People have pointed out something interesting, and that's the fact that the bad girl vibe is exactly what we got to see from Rihanna after her debut album, Music of the Sun. She even named her third album Good Girl Gone Bad, and this is why there are people who believe that Rihanna stole what should have been Teairra's career. Things continued to get worse for Teairra at Def Jam after the release of her debut album. Rockefeller Records presents Teairra Marie. Because she already had a hit with Make Her Feel Good, there were high expectations about the album, and the label expected it to be a major hit. But the first week's sales were kind of disappointing to the label because it only sold 69,000 copies. And even though this was a decent number for a new artist, the label was after something more than decent. The album also had decent charting because it peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums chart. But once again, the label was after something better than decent numbers, and they came to the decision to drop Teairra because of low album sales. According to Teairra, she was told that she was being dropped over a phone call, and even worse, she got the call while she was preparing for prom night.
You know, what happened was I got dropped from Rockefeller on my prom day. You know, they didn't know. For the prom? Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh.
Now, there's another interesting detail here that pretty much convinced everyone that the label had switched sides from Teairra to Rihanna, and they were now being unfair to Teairra. When Rihanna released her debut album, Music of the Sun, it sold almost the exact same amount as Teairra's album, also selling 69,000 copies in the first week. Now, Teairra's low sales were the reason the label gave her for dropping her, but Rihanna sold the same amount but was somehow able to keep her spot on the label. This was fishy to a lot of people, and there were a lot of conversations around this with someone commenting, Rihanna's debut was lackluster, and I never imagined her to be such the force she is today, especially since Teairra debuted higher than she did, and they told her it wasn't enough and booted her, yet gave Riri another shot. Getting dropped by the label was pretty much the beginning of the end for Teairra, because she never really found much success after that. She signed to Interscope Records, and even though she released a couple of projects, none of them were strong enough to make her a mainstream artist.
Okay, so now with that all being said, before I go to the next clip, I find it interesting that Wendy Williams, when she was talking to Blu Cantrell, she said that she felt like Blu Cantrell was too old for Jay-Z because she was 25 at the time, and she felt like Jay-Z would want a younger woman, someone basically who's more naive. And that seems to be true because he was obviously, according to Dame Dash and others, vying for the affection of Aaliyah, sending her roses and all sorts of things allegedly, but Aaliyah wasn't, well, Dame said that one day it would be like it was Jay-Z was up, and then another day it would be like he was up, but he finally ended up winning Aaliyah over. So Capricorn said Beyonce is a hater. I absolutely agree. And here's the thing. I find it very interesting that she went up and said something to L.A. Reid that he actually took her word or paid attention to what she said. That just goes to show you the power that her and Jay-Z have. Now, another thing is there were also rumors that Jay-Z was hitting on Teairra. Not to mention, there's now rumors that the person who sued Diddy, that's a singer who's listed as Jane Doe in the lawsuit, one of the lawsuits filed, well, many people believe that's Teairra Marie, okay, because that's the allegation, or that's the speculation, shall I say. Some people think it's Teairra Marie. And like I said, some people were saying that Beyonce was jealous of Teairra Marie, and that's another reason she wanted to get Rihanna in there, and not to mention, of course, Rihanna was Jay-Z's artist. But what's ironic about that is then later, I'm sure we all have heard the rumors that Jay-Z had something going on with Rihanna. Now, I don't know if those rumors were true, but they went on for a long time. Please pay attention. All right, they went on for a long time. Now, next up on the list is M.I.A. and M.I.A. M.I.A. again, because they supposedly teamed up. Now, let's talk about M.I.A. because she recently came out and accused Jay-Z of helping the family, the Brofmans. This is a billionaire that she had a child with. And this man has custody of the child, and she has been fighting him for custody and all of that. But she seems to think that Jay-Z had a hand in it. His name is Benjamin Bronfman, and his family is they're the heirs to the Seagram's fortune. You may remember when I reported on that cult, okay, with the woman from Smallville, Allison Mack, and there's a woman named Sarah Bronfman. She's an heiress to the Seagram's gin empire also. She's the one who, in fact, paid for all of their attorneys for everyone. If you all remember that, they call it, it's NXIVM. I don't know how they pronounce it, Nexium or something like that. But anyway, British rapper M.I.A. is calling out the United States immigration policies as she continues her struggle to see her 14-year-old son. Now, this came out, like I said, almost 2 weeks ago, like around the 11th. So it goes on to say that she called out the immigration policies as she continues to struggle to see her 14-year-old son with ex-fiance Benjamin Bronfman. Now, she says, Biden won't let me see my child. This is what she tweeted in all caps alongside a screenshot showing that she's ineligible for a U.S. visa because of her past behavior. The longest processing is meant to be just 2 months, and it's already been that. I have to wait till a Republican wins. Wow. That's what she said. Now, M.I.A. and Bronfman welcomed their son in February 2009. But she's been struggling to maintain custody ever since that they separated in 2012. She accused the billionaire of trying to take her son away from her in 2013 and publicly pleaded with the U.S. government to let her celebrate Christmas with him in December of 2023. Another reason she's upset is because she says that the ex and his, I guess his new wife, the stepmother, they had her child receive the venom without her permission or consent. So she was very bothered by that. She says they basically are saying I have to wait for Republicans to come to office because 9 months from now is the election. I'm not allowed to see my child I'm not allowed to see my child for stealing food at 18 when I was poor. Yet our government is okay with my child being with family convicted of child trafficking and sex cults. Okay. Yeah, because like I said, some of the members were involved in that whole cult that I told you all about a couple of years ago. Now, the difference between me and migrants coming in is that I can't vote. I'm paying U.S. tax dollars, paying U.S. taxes too. Sick. Now, she's referring to Brofman's family's involvement in the NXIVM cult, which was led by convicted sex offender and racketeer Keith Rainier. Benjamin Brofman's grandfather, Edgar Brofman Sr., was briefly involved in the cult, but later stopped his association with the when he rightly speculated that it was a cult. Sure, he did. Now, his daughter, Clara Brofman, was convicted on sex trafficking charges for her involvement in the cult. I'm sorry, I said Sarah. I believe Clara is the one that paid everybody's attorney's fees. M.I.A. also said that she believes she's been denied a visa now because she spoke out against Israel's conflict in Palestine, which she labeled, she had some things about it and said some things about it, which I'm not going to repeat, and called for a ceasefire. She says, I'm sorry, America, but your ethics and morals are pretty effed on this one. I have shown support for Julian for 14 years and have been to the USA many times. The only thing different this time is I called for a ceasefire. Now I'm forced to pick between my child and speaking up for what's right. And they have all of her tweets listed here. Now, in further tweets, she made it clear that she's not backing down from the custody battle. She says, I am happy to go to war for my child, just like every mother. But is your monster the same as mine? My first custody battle was 2013. My child was 4 years old. I was managed by Jay-Z, who ultimately was paid by the Brofmans. So she's saying that her ex-fiance, the father of her child, and his family, she claims that they paid Jay-Z off. Now, she went on to claim that the reason for her 2013 album, Matangi, failed to make much of an impact on release, despite a generally positive critical reception, is because of Jay-Z's association with the Brofmans. Be very clear why my record was buried in 2013, she says. I sacrificed my career for my child. They ripped me off and copied my style and gave it to their puppets and shadow banned me on every platform. So she's saying that they blackballed her, just like all these other people are claiming. But it was worth it to save him from the madness of what you now know. The artist also wrote that Roc Nation, who she was previously signed with, stopped all communication with her, and all of her emails to Jay-Z asking for his help, they were all wiped clean from her inbox. She says she has a typo, so I'm going to assume that she's trying to say her laptop was broken into. She says or maybe her house was broken into. My blank was broken into and every lap was taken. I think she said her house or residence was broken into and every laptop was taken. She says, I was trapped in Brooklyn on order served that restricted me from leaving Brooklyn for 15 years. Now, she also suggested that Hillary Clinton gifted Muammar Gaddafi oil fields to Sarah Brofman, gifted his oil fields to Sarah Brofman, who was also heavily involved in the cult in 2011. Okay, so I was right. It was Sarah Brofman, not Claire. It was Sarah that actually paid for the attorney's fees. Okay, so let me continue. So they had two relatives involved, Sarah and Claire. Now, I was punished for saying that he helps Africa. They tried to send my child to one of her schools. When I went to visit the school, the children looked dozy and drugged, and I couldn't tell why. I refused. And so M.I.A.'s last studio release was 2022, M.I.A, which failed to chart on the Billboard's 200. She remained active musically and has occasionally played shows for festivals, but her focus right now is elsewhere. Okay, so let me say this. This young woman, M.I.A, so here's the thing. I have a problem with her because she tried to go in on Beyonce. Basically, she went in on Beyonce because she said Beyonce and somebody else, I forget who it was, but she said they were representing the Black Lives Matter. I want to say it was Beyonce and Kanye, but she said they were representing Black Lives Matter, and this was around 2015 or 16. And she basically said, do they represent Muslim Lives Matter? And then she said she wasn't Muslim. But then later, when she got criticism online, she tried to come back and walk it back and say that that's not how she meant it. But I really didn't care at that point. Okay, so here it is right here. M.I.A clarifies comments on Beyonce and the Black Lives Matter movement. In a recent evening with ES Magazine, electric music maker M.I.A tackled various topics like Kanye West's 10-year-old advice to her, saying, whatever you do, don't date people, don't get pregnant, don't. Now, in a recent interview with the magazine, she tackled the various topics, and she basically said, when asked about the Borders, rapper singer had seen Beyonce's Super Bowl performance of her empowering anthem of Formation, the former SB performer herself, M.I.A landed in a hefty multi-million-dollar legal battle with the NFL for flipping the finger during her set at 2012 Super Bowl. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so they asked her what she thought about Beyonce's performance. Now, you all remember when Beyonce came out there dressed in black with like gold on, and basically they did the formation and they made the X like for Malcolm X or something like that. You all remember? I remember seeing that halftime performance. And if she's black, it shouldn't matter her religion. Well, exactly, Andrea, exactly. Exactly. This young woman isn't black. She's Sri Lankan. I think she's of Sri Lankan descent. Now, it goes on to say she was actually sued by the NFL, okay, because she flipped the finger. And, you know, they consider it a family-friendly event when they have the Super Bowl halftime performances and all of that. So they were very upset by it. And so basically they sued her. And Jay-Z was trying to convince her to take the deal that they were asking, which was for them to receive 100% of her money earnings if it was over $2 million for the rest of her life, basically making her a slave. Now, I don't know why Jay-Z, other than being nefarious, would tell her to sign that. But anyway, that's what she claims. Now, she says it's interesting that in America, the problem that you're allowed to talk about is Black Lives Matter. This is what she said. Please pay attention. In reference to Beyonce and the Super Bowl performance. She said, it's interesting that in America, the problem you're allowed to talk about is Black Lives Matter. It's not a new thing to me. It's what Lauryn Hill was saying in the 1990s or Public Enemy in the 1980s, she says. Now, is Beyonce or Kendrick Lamar going to say Muslim lives matter or Syrian lives matter or this kid in Pakistan matters? That's a more interesting question. And you cannot ask it on a song that's on Apple. You cannot ask it on an American TV program. You cannot create that tag on Twitter. Michelle Obama is not going to hump you back. My thing is, if she wants to support that, she should do so herself. Okay. Black people have our own problems to worry about. We're not worried about what's going on in these other countries to a degree, you know, maybe Africa, but I'm just saying we can't worry about what's going on over there when we can't even get it right over here. So I'm sorry. Why is it that all these other races and ethnic groups always think that when they have problems and issues that it's up to us to be their cheerleaders? I find it all very interesting, don't you? But anyway, where were they when there was Jim Crow and redlining and all the nefarious things that continue to go on? I digress. Okay, when we asked for reparations. But anyway, now after her comments appeared to rub the internet the wrong way, the Sri Lankan rhymer took to Twitter to clarify her comments that on the morning of April the 21st. She says, my question was, on American platforms, what do they allow you to stand up for in 2016? This has been the number one question for me. This is what she tweeted. And then she said, hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag hashtag Black Lives Matter, or B, hashtag Muslim Lives Matter. I'm not Muslim. My criticism wasn't about Beyonce. It's how you can say A and not B right now in 2016. Just leave Black Lives Matter out of this, what you should have done. I'm just saying. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, and for those of you who don't know about that nefarious cult that I was talking about, you have to go back and find the video for that, because I went in depth about it. It's on my Odyssey channel, but that stuff is all crazy. Okay, so with that all being said, now we're going to go, why do you care? Why do you care? Do it in your own country, says Aboriginal woman. At the time, she was in this country, beloved. But, you know, again, why does she feel like we should be doing anything other than saying Black Lives Matter? I'm sorry. All right. So we already know, because here's the thing. In the United States, we already know that other lives matter. That's a given. You don't see other ethnic groups and races of people being slaughtered in the streets like you do our people. You know what I'm saying? So that argument is like just ridiculous to me whenever they try to say that, you know, because nobody was saying only Black Lives Matter, which is how some of them tried to foolishly frame it. It was basically saying Black Lives Matter also. Okay. And I'm sure she knew that. But anyway, I digress. Now, moving on to the next video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. I think this is it.
This is what you should be doing, and this is the idea of your success, and this is what I can compute, you know.
Suing rapper M.I.A., who performed with Madonna at the 2012 game, over what they say was an indecent gesture, but instead of
M.I.A. Her name is synonymous with low-rise studded flares, an ever-present midriff, and the woman who penned those single, steamy, and free, making my own money lyrics. Thrust into an international spotlight at just 18 years old, M.I.A. was responsible for some of the biggest pop songs you remember from the 1990s and early 2000s. Case of the X, Ghetto Superstar, My Love Is Like, Whoa, and Free. In 2001, M.I.A. collaborated with Pink, Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, and Missy Elliott to remake Patti LaBelle's 1974 song, Lady Marmalade, winning the Grammy Award for Best Pop Collaboration and selling over 5.5 million copies worldwide, in hard copy form since streaming wasn't available, making the track the most successful airplay-only single in history. For most women, and some men, their memories of M.I.A.'s music are conducive to certain moments in their lives. But then, all of a sudden, she disappeared from the limelight. So what happened? Hold that thought for a moment. Now, do you remember British rap goddess M.I.A.? She also disappeared from the music scene, never to be heard from again. And guess who is responsible for both her case and M.I.A.'s? None other than Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. M.I.A. said her former manager, Jay-Z, urged her to agree to a lawsuit settlement with the NFL that would have allegedly allowed the organization to keep 100% of her earnings if she earned more than $2 million. In an interview with Huck, M.I.A. discussed the lawsuit stemming from her controversial 2012 appearance at the Super Bowl halftime show, where she briefly gave the middle finger on air. The NFL sued the rapper for $16.6 million in 2014, though not long after reaching an unspecified settlement. If you're talking about racism and that moment in my life showed the cracks in everyone I knew, M.I.A. said of the Super Bowl and its aftermath. I was at Rock Nation at the time, and Jay-Z was managing me. The lawsuit was so ridiculous, it proposed that they would keep 100% of my earnings for the rest of my life if I ever earned more than $2 million. Jay-Z was like, "You should sign that S," and I was like, "No." M.I.A. elaborated on her issue with the negotiations, suggesting the NFL tried to take advantage of her because of her race and gender. They thought the best legal way to solve that was to sign on the dotted line to whatever terms the NFL wanted to put on me, which was basically to be a lifelong slave forever and to give 100% of my earnings to them until I die, she says. Somebody thought that it was okay to write only in 2013. And it happened because you're a woman, a brown woman, and you did something very silly. And it was so threatening that the punishment for it was to basically lock you into this thing forever. M.I.A. added that she was glad she left Rock Nation and settled the lawsuit with her own lawyers, noting that at the time, nobody was standing up to the NFL. Since then, everyone has grown a backbone to stand up to the NFL and to have activism and to speak about things and to stick up for women, she adds. And none of this was around in 2013. The middle finger incident was covered in Stephen Loveridge's.
Okay, so there you have it. Now, with that all being said, so a couple of people that I left off of the list, I'm sure there's plenty of people I left off of the list, but one person that I left off was A-Marie. Okay, because allegedly they got A-Marie blackballed, according to rumors, okay, and sources. Now, don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they say. But also, if you all remember Free from 106 in Park, how many of you remember Free from 106 in Park when she lost her job? Now, at the time, they were saying that she was messing around with Jay-Z, and I don't know if this is true or not, but at the time, they were saying this all over the tabloids, that Free was messing around with Jay-Z and got pregnant, okay, and got rid of it. Do you all remember hearing that? Okay, and her career took a dive also, okay? Yeah, she was no longer on 106 in Park after that. And so it's very interesting. These things can't all be coincidences, is all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, let's go to the next video. We're going to be out of here in a minute. And listen, for the next live, I'm going to be on the backup channel. We're going to talk about Suge Knight being messy from prison, talking about Left Eye saying that Chili has, you know, those same things that Tasha K said Cardi B had. And also, talking about Left Eye said that she slept with Dallas Austin, which is Chili's ex. It's all real messy. And I'm going to show some receipts on that. Okay, but anyway, let's continue.
Sharing that she was on set, hanging with her sister, when Jay decided to pull up his chair next to hers. They had a chat, and then he bounced. Later on, one of Jay's bodyguards approached Olivia, telling her that Jay wanted her number. Classy move, right? Well, Olivia thought it was a bit immature, and, out of respect for Beyonce, she turned down the number exchange. But wait, the story doesn't end there. They reportedly bumped into each other again at Nobu in Miami. This time, Olivia was with her crew, and Jay was rolling with his friends, including Beyonce's sister, Solange. According to Olivia, they both ditched their tables and had a rendezvous in a private corridor where they finally swapped numbers. Olivia spilled the details to Radar Online, revealing that Solange walked right past and kinda caught the whole scene. She said, "I told you the day that Jay-Z and I exchanged numbers at Nobu in Miami. Solange came walking up out of nowhere. I thought I was about to get my butt beat, so I backed off quickly. She has been guarding her sister's property since day one. Beyonce doesn't even have to say anything. Solange is a beast. Solange was ready to beat my butt when she got off that elevator and saw Jay and I talking. Jay saw Solange, and then he rushed and sent me to his bodyguard to exchange numbers with him. His name was Norman. He gave me a phone number, and I guess that was Jay-Z's extra phone for girls to call. Norman has since passed. I can't believe I dodged a butt-whooping from Solange that day. She was a big reason why I left him alone. She gave me a look of death. Very scary. Well, we all need a Solange in our lives, right? I mean, who wouldn't want someone who's got their back like that? Because let's be real, not everyone's got your best interests at heart. Now, it seems like Beyonce had something to say about it all. In one of her tracks titled Resentment, she threw some vibes about the situation, singing, "I know she was attractive, but I was here first. Been riding with you for 6 years. Why did I deserve to be treated this way by you? I know you're probably thinking, what's up with B? I used to be so strong, but now you took my soul." But guess what? Nothing major came out of the whole mess. And Olivia tried to make the most of the scandal by dropping a song called Sorry, Mrs. Carter. She wrote, "Your man, he likes model chicks. He likes all naturally flawless model chicks like me." As for her rap career, well, it didn't exactly take off, and Olivia faded into the background. Beyonce and Jay-Z said "I do" on April 4th, 2008, in a low-key ceremony at Jay's Tribeca penthouse. Fast forward 2 years, and Jay found himself in the middle of another cheating storm. Hollywood Street King blog, or HSK, spilled the tea, claiming Jay had been involved with a woman even before tying the knot with Beyonce. This mystery lady was a publicist named Kathy White, and online pics suggested she had some industry connections, rubbing elbows with TV personality Claudia Jordan. HSK did some snooping and dug up a 2009 photo of Jay chilling at a Vegas nightclub table with a crew that included Diddy. And guess who else was there? Yep, Kathy. But here's the weird part. That image vanished from the internet, like poof, gone into thin air. So, according to an insider spill into HSK, Jay-Z apparently went all out for his alleged side thing, Kathy.
Okay, so I find it all so interesting. Hold on just a second. Okay. Now, I never heard of Olivia, who calls herself Liv, and that song, Sorry, Mrs. Carter. I never heard of either of those till recently. Okay, and so the last clip I'm going to play is Nicki Minaj. The last clip I'm going to play is Nicki Minaj because now it seems like all of these other things they've been accused of doing, well, Nicki seems to think that's what they're now trying to do to her. Please pay attention. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out which one of these is the correct video. Okay, I think this is it. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. The beef between Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion seems to have escalated, so much so that she's calling out the CEO of Roc Nation, Desiree Perez, and she just may expose Jay-Z as well. She seems to think, allegedly, that Jay-Z and Beyonce have tried to turn Meg Thee Stallion into a carbon copy of her. Let's get into it. Now, according to sources, Nicki has accused Jay-Z and Beyonce of buying streams for Meg Thee Stallion to increase her numbers, basically rigging the game against her. Please pay attention. In a post, Nicki referenced both Meg Thee Stallion and Desiree, the CEO of Roc Nation, saying, spending so much money, but she's the little broke independent artist. Desiree, you gotta let it go, baby. The world knows she's ASS and can't rap. Stop effing trying to make fetch happen. In another post, she says, in the next song, I'll delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons, other things as well. So many people were blindsided by her. Allegedly, she's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Hashtag fix it Jesus. Hashtag Bigfoot. Now, in Nicki's Queen doc, she opened up about an abusive relationship. Now, allegedly, sources are saying she was talking about Meek Mill and says that someone from Roc Nation called her and told her to take out the parts of the doc that included him. Please pay attention.
When my mother would let my father be violent with her. And she always brings up the story as a little girl. I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, like, that's why I'm, like, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or bitchy or whatever, because I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then all of a sudden, that was my life.
Now, there are some things about the CEO, Desiree Perez, that some of you may not know. So let's talk about it. Perez was the wife of longtime Jay-Z wingman Juan Perez, who is now the head of Roc Nation Sports. But in 1994, the Perez family was rounded up in a major investigation in South Florida. That year, 19 people, including Desiree Perez, were indicted in a federal investigation. After her arrest in 1994 for conspiracy with intent to distribute narcotics, Perez cooperated with the U.S. Attorney's Office and received a sentence of 5 years probation. Among other offenses, she was later charged with parole violation and served 9 months in prison in 1999. She was a whole federal informant. Please pay attention. But in the final hours of 45's presidency, he commuted 70 prison sentences and pardoned 73 people, one of whom was Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. And let's not forget that when Jay-Z made the deal with the NFL and turned his back on Colin Kaepernick, he said, I think we're past kneeling now. And when he said that, who was sitting right behind him other than Desiree Perez? And if you ask me, she looked clearly pressed. And I'm pretty sure it was because she likely had no idea what Jay-Z was going to say.
Y'all have an affiliation to Jay-Z in some sort of way. Y'all be thinking that y'all can disrespect and violate.
Baby, since the Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion feud escalated, it has become very clear that something is going on with Nicki Minaj and the Carters. And now Nicki is making it clear again that just because people are close to Beyonce and Jay-Z, that doesn't give them the right to disrespect her. As a matter of fact, sources very close to her are saying that Nicki is very cautious about Jay-Z and Beyonce pulling a Keri Hilson on her, and their mega project is Megan Thee Stallion.
This is about Jay-Z. This is about Jay-Z. And excuse me, because I'm not trying to be fresh at all. But Jay-Z has this way of kind of like presenting himself in the culture as like this Daddy Warbucks kind of figure.
Ciao, y'all got Azalea Ebanks entering the chat too? Anyway, apparently Nicki is not just cautious of Jay-Z and Beyonce alone, she's also cautious about other people in the industry too. Cause apparently that mistake at the Grammys was not just a mistake. The Grammys allegedly, intentionally wanted to embarrass Nicki. We'll get to that. But first, let's get into how Jay-Z and Beyonce are allegedly trying to sabotage Nicki. Y'all, unless I'm the one who has been imagining things, haven't Nicki and the Carters always been on good terms? I mean, they seem to be on pretty good terms when Beyonce publicly acknowledged Nicki's birthday as well as the birth of her son in 2020, and Bey even sent her a handwritten note welcoming Nicki to motherhood. The Carters also seemed to be on good terms with Nicki when they congratulated her on receiving the Vanguard Award at the 2022 MTV VMAs. In fact, as recently as July 2023, Beyonce sent a number of pink Ivy Park items to Nicki to celebrate her title track for the Barbie film soundtrack. Well, there are some people who have also pointed out that the last time Nicki attended the pre-Grammy Rock Nation brunch was in 2015. And at the time, she was dating Meek Mill, who would go on to become partners with Jay-Z in a push for prison reform. So is it possible that behind the scenes they've actually had problems, but have only been trying to put up appearances for the public? I don't know, guys, but whatever left a bad taste in Nicki's mouth with the Carters possibly took place towards the end of 2023. And whatever happened was so bad that it had Nicki dissing Beyonce in one of her recent songs, Press Play, where she raps, they said, "Why you can't Beyonce? Daddy wasn't no businessman. Mama wasn't no business owner. What an idiot. You can't be me. I'm already it." Yeah, she really did say that. Next, we had this whole Megan Thee Stallion feud boiling over, and the way Nicki was pressed, child, I knew something else was up. I don't think one line in Megan's song Hiss warranted the clapback Nicki gave for days. Well, now the streets are saying that the bigger issue is not even with Megan, it's with Jay-Z and Beyonce. For starters, Rock Nation, which is owned by Jay-Z, is the company behind Megan Thee Stallion's success. And according to various sources, Rock Nation is pumping so much money to push Megan Thee Stallion and intentionally fueling the beef with Nicki Minaj to push her out of the business. Now, when the beef between Nicki and Megan escalated, fans thought that Nicki overreacted after Megan rapped about Megan's Law. Obviously, that touched a nerve because her husband Kenneth Petty has been in the database for over 2 decades after serving 4 years in prison for you know what. But what many people probably don't know is that in 2020, Nicki's brother Jelani Mirage was also sentenced to 25 years in a New York prison for basically the same thing as her husband. Before sentencing, Nicki actually wrote a letter on his behalf, hoping to decrease his time behind bars by defining him as a gentle and selfless man, but Jelani still had to serve time. Now, as much as to Nicki, that line about Megan's Law was pretty personal. It's allegedly not just about Megan, because Nicki is somehow convinced that Rock Nation is the one behind her sabotage, and she made that pretty clear when she went on her rant against Megan. In one of the tweets, Nicki claimed Rock Nation was pouring money into pushing Hiss to outperform Bigfoot. Different tweet where Nicki also mentioned Rock Nation, she was like, "Y'all want to bring up my family members and lying on your dead mother? Lied to Gail, lied on and effed your best friend man, told me to drink and go to the clinic if I was pregnant, all because I wouldn't let your funky butt pour liquor down my throat?" She thinks she a bully cause she got a Rock Nation brunch every year. Be mad at Party. He told all your tea, but you taking shots at my family? Get up on your good foot. Go apologize to your mother, nasty serpent.
Not a nasty serpent. Okay, so I was mistaken, guys. I have one more video. This is like 2 minutes long. This is them talking about Meek Mill and his dispute with Jay-Z and this other young man who says Jay-Z wanted his publishing. So let's get into it.
R. Kelly was working together at one time.
But if you gonna be mad at R. Kelly, you got to be mad at Jay-Z. Foxy Brown said Jay-Z was putting that horse when she was 15, 16. She said the man got a horse.
Be close to R. Kelly and find out what type of person he really is.
Everybody believed that they seen the media.
You know, people behind the media created that narrative.
With the Best of Both Worlds tour, and I think they did 2 albums together.
He put his money behind a project that cost this man his life in prison. Well, it could, because I got faith that R. Kelly gonna get out now.
A boiling point when the tour came to Madison Square Garden. While R. Kelly was performing, he claimed that there were guys in the crowd mean mugging him, and one guy had a gun. He decided to run off stage. When everyone assured him that everything was fine, R. Kelly tried to come back to the stage, but ended up being pepper sprayed by somebody in Jay's camp. Jay-Z then snatched the mic and let it be known that he did not need R. Kelly to finish the show.
Everybody, you okay? You safe? There's no guns in the building. I really tried to hold this thing together. I really tried. I was really patient. I was really freaking patient, I'm telling you. Trust me, you know how I go. One monkey don't stop a show, I tell you.
So if you ever been in back of Madison Square Garden, you could see them all walking up. Guns in their hands, security had the guns out and everything. In my mind, I'm saying, fuck is this Mace gonna do with these guns? But Tata, the dude tried to get on stage, Tata started spraying the Mace.
Okay, so that was the wrong video. I don't know what I did with the other one, but nonetheless, I hope you all enjoyed it. At the end of the day, now Foxy Brown, one thing that I forgot to mention is that Foxy Brown had threatened to sue TMZ at one point for the rumors that people say that she actually said. Okay, you heard when Wendy Williams was talking to Blu Cantrell and asking her about Jay-Z and saying what she heard about his parts. Well, where do you think she heard that from? Because the guy in that video said that Foxy Brown said she was messing around with him allegedly when she was 15 and said that he had the same thing. He described it the same way that Wendy described it. So I don't know if she did or not, but later when TMZ said something about it, Foxy threatened to sue them for spreading rumors. Somebody may have gotten in her ear and told her to take back what she said. Who knows? But I find it all very interesting. Yes, Queen Sam said a large eggplant. Oh, I love her. Said Superhead said the same thing. Oh, okay. You all are something else. Okay, so with that all being said, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. All right. And I hope to see you all in the next chat. Like I said, we're going to talk about Suge Knight being messy as I don't know what from prison. Everyone drop the likes. Okay. Don't forget to like and share. Each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side. Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over cabbage and look like Mr. Potato Head. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act. Cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie. And you gotta